What's going on, family? Happy Saturday.
I'll
Starting
never
with
be
you.
more loved than I am right now. Wasn't holding you up, so there's nothing I can do to let you down. It doesn't take a trophy to make you cry. I'll never be more loved than I am right now. Ooh. Going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out. You would cross an ocean, so I wouldn't drown. You've never been closer than you are right now. You are a child. You are enough. Child, you are enough.
Let's go. Happy, blessed Saturday. You already know what time it is. It's your boy Crazy Faith the God in the building, on this blessed Saturday. About to drop some value for you guys today, right? So let's dive into it. Today's topic is actually going to be spirits are transferable, right? Spirits are transferable, right? So let's dive into it a little bit more. What does that even mean? Spirits are transferable, right? So take for instance, right? If you around a lot of bad individuals that's not living the right way, the godly way, and they're just, in a bad, toxic environment, right? And that's all that they know, right? And if they hang around you and you're a high energy person, right, that negativity will rub off on you, right? Spirits are transferable. You ever notice when someone's feeling bad and they come around you, right? You start to kind of feel bad too. But when you're around someone that's good, high vibration, good energy, right? What happens? You start to feel good too when you're around that person. You actually want to be more around that person if you're a good vibrational person. If you have a positive outlook on life, you would tend to gravitate to be around more people that's happy, more people that's successful, that's doing something with their lives, rather than the negative people, right? The bad influences that is not adding nothing to your life. That's actually taken away from your life, right? And as I begin to understand this, I begin to be around people and just to understand, some people would want to just bring you down to their level of excellence, right? They want to just bring you down to their level of excellence because why? They probably feel uncomfortable or they just trying to bring you back to your past. And you got to be careful of those people, right? People that are draining your energy. We want to disconnect from those people because they're not adding value, right? And they're bringing you back to your past. Like you went through all of this work to get to where you're at right now. Why be dragged back by someone who doesn't value or see your worth, right? We got to let those people go. No matter how good the person can be at sometimes, but if they're not elevating you or helping you to move forward and they're hindering you, you got to let them go, right? There's no middle grounds. It's either you're a friend or a foe. There is no middle grounds to this. We have to let them go. If they're not bringing you higher up with them, or if you can't bring them up higher, right, with you, we got to disconnect and love from a distance. If they're not willing to change and grow and transform, then we got to cut that negative energy, right? This is the importance of your spirits are transferable, right? So with me, I can't be around certain people, right? I've set that boundary where my energy is super valuable and it's only used for God's kingdom. It's not to be used in any other aspect of life. It's only towards God's kingdom and what He wants me to do, right? So we gotta understand that you gotta understand that your energy is super powerful and you shouldn't be letting people around you either. You gotta set those boundaries, right? You gotta value yourself because if you don't, then you end up going backwards, right? And we all hate the regret of going backwards when we work so hard to move forward and transform our lives. Why are we moving backwards over someone who didn't help us reach those heights. They didn't help us reach those heights and help us fight. They didn't help us fight to get to where we are, but they want to bring us down to their no, no. We humbly and respectfully, try to bring them up with us. If not, it's cool. Love from a distance. Bye. See you later. If you're not willing to grow, you cannot be around me. If I can't inspire you and you change your life, or you can't add value to my life, then what are we doing? Right? We got to be able to move forward. Right? And I bring this to show you because I was once that person that I was around negative influences. I was around people that didn't contribute to my growth. I was around people that was not conducive to my growth. And I just begin to realize, wait, I gotta value myself a lot more and set up these boundaries. Because when I set up the boundaries, I'm able to grow. I'm able to transform. I'm able to add value to God's kingdom and whatever He needs me to do, right? Whatever He needs, I'm able to add that value, pick someone up, and actually accomplish my dreams, goals, and aspirations as well. But the moment I'm around negative influences, I lose, like, kind of like, you kind of lose sight of the vision. You kind of get watered down. You kind of get in a depressing state of mind, and you feel like you have your faith is being drained, right? And we got to let that go. We got to start disconnecting from those people that make us feel like that. And a good way to understand this on another level, you got to tap into your intuition. You got to tap into how you feeling within, right? You got to tap into your intuition, the Holy Ghost, God, right? You got to tap into that and distinguish and discern if this person is right fit for you to where you're going. If not, right? If not, you got to cut that. Because if not, you will spiritually die. You will spiritually die. You won't physically die, but you will spiritually die. And what a spiritual death is, just pretty much the internal life that's within you is being depleted and drained out. And that's what you need to get to your dreams and goals, right? If your internal world, that inner man, that inner woman isn't strong at all, and if you're not feeding that spirit, the spirit of God, if you're not feeding that internal world, I'm telling you, that spiritual death is real, right? And we got to get away from those people that's taking us away from the spiritual world. That's taking us away from feeding the internal world, right? Because if we don't do that, we risk getting hurt and we risk losing everything that we've worked hard for, right? And it may seem hard, but I'd rather risk that than to risk my internal world and everything that I've worked hard for, right? Everything that I work hard for, I rather risk the people and just be by my. If I have to be by myself, cool. I figure it out by myself with God. We go to the top, whatever. Cool. If they're not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. I'm not gonna force something that's not meant to be. I value myself too much. I have boundaries for myself that I have to protect, because if I don't protect those boundaries, I risk getting hurt. I gotta live with the regret, not them, right? So we gotta take control. We gotta take control and not let the world, outside people, dictate how you feel within and the progress you're making on a day-to-day basis, right? And I just hope that you guys could understand this on another level. I hope that you guys could understand that spirits are transferable, right? I'm gonna need 50 feet, right? Spirits are transferable. Like, I wasn't aware of this until recent, like a couple months ago. I wasn't truly. I was just letting people around me that I thought was cool, but in all reality, they was not living in the kingdom. They was living in the flesh, right? And if you're in the spirit and you're around someone who's living in the flesh, right? A carnal mind is imminent to God. So that means if you're in the spiritual room and you're around someone that's in the flesh, then that means that person is pulling you away from God, right? That means that person is pulling you away from God if they're not in the spirit with you, right? It's no middle grounds, right? It's either you're a friend or a foe. Like, and I need you guys to understand this because this is next level information. This is the truth, right? If you're around someone who's in the flesh and you're trying to stay in the spirit and holy, you will fall. So my advice to you is to like leave those people, right? If they can't come up higher with you, you gotta let them go. No emotions, because this is not about them. This is about you. This is about your eternity, your internal life, and where you're going for the future. Don't miss out on the future over trying to make someone happy or please someone or not trying to hurt someone. Don't be that person, right? Don't be that person because that person doesn't care about you, right? That person doesn't really care about you. If they're not willing to elevate with you, that person doesn't really care. They probably don't even care about themselves, right? And we got to be able to care about ourselves so we can protect the future, right? So just want to leave you guys with this, right? I want to leave you guys with this, right? Spirits are transferable, right? And if you don't protect the people that you have around you, you will get contaminated to the point where you can't even see the goodness of God. You would just keep going back and forth, trying to, and it would just be stagnant. You won't see no true growth, right? Until you start to level up, until you start to set the boundaries, right? Set the value for your life. Because if you don't set the boundaries and the values for your life, it will be set for you and you will live a life out of your control. But once you start setting the boundaries, start respecting yourself with confidence, right? And protecting your kingdom, then you will see the growth and you can start elevating higher and higher. But you have to protect it. If you don't protect it, what happens if you're in a war and you don't protect yourself? You die, right? Same thing with the spiritual world. You have to protect that spiritual kingdom. If you don't, guess what? You die. You got to fight and you got to protect that at all costs, right? And I just want to take a couple minutes to pray over you guys. You know, just want to take a couple minutes to pray over you guys really quick. God, I ask that you can help them to be more aware of the spiritual life rather than the physical life. Open their eyes up to the spiritual life because that's where we see the most growth. That's where you are at. That's where you live, right? And everything else is weak, right? This whole lifestyle of living from the external world is weak, but the true power comes from the internal God. Help us to see that power. Help us to tap into that power, and most importantly, help us to stay with that power, Lord. Help us to stay with that and not get pulled back and forth from from the natural to the spirit. Help us not get drawn back to the natural into the spirit. Help us just to stay mighty and strong in the spirit because the spirit is where we get the power, where we get the life, where we get the true life, the real juicy life, right? And help us to know that there's no greater elevation than a relationship with you and Jesus Christ. Help us to be more aware of that and take it more seriously. In Jesus' name, let's go. Have a blessed and amazing, amazing, amazing Saturday. It's your boy, Crazy Faith on the way out. Nothing but love. Let's grow and become 1% better no matter what happens. Let's get it. Let's go.